What if one of the biggest reasons you're struggling to sleep isn't stress or caffeine or even your mattress, but the glowing rectangle you might be looking at right now? Your phone, your laptop, your TV. Modern life means we are constantly surrounded by something our ancestors never experienced, a flood of artificial blue light long after the sun is set. And scientists have discovered that this seemingly harmless glow may be hijacking one of the ancient and fundamental systems in your body. It's a silent disruptor, sending a false signal deep into your brain. Today, we're uncovering the biological reason why blue light destroys your natural sleep cycles. We'll explore how it suppresses the critical sleep hormone melatonin, confuses your brain's master clock, and fundamentally changes the way you rest. Deep inside your brain, in a region called the hypothalamus, sits a tiny but incredibly powerful structure, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Let's just call it the SCN. You can think of it as the master timekeeper for your entire body. It's a dense cluster of about 20,000 neurons, and its job is to act as the central pacemaker, coordinating your circadian rhythm. That rhythm is the roughly 24-hour biological cycle that dictates nearly everything your body does. It controls when you feel sleepy and when you feel awake. It controls the release of hormones, the rise and fall of your body temperature, the efficiency of your digestion, and even the activity of your immune system. It's the invisible conductor leading the orchestra of your biology. And for millions of years, this master clock has relied on one signal above all others to set its time, to know when the day begins and when it ends. That signal is light. For nearly all of human history, our ancestors lived and slept by the sun. The brilliant blue-rich light of morning was an unambiguous message to the brain. Wake up, be alert. It's time to find food, to move, to engage with the world. As the sun set, the light would fade and shift towards warmer, redder tones. The arrival of darkness sent an equally clear message. The day is over, it's time to rest, repair, and be safe. This transition from day to night was never abrupt. Even after sunset, the primary source of artificial light was the campfire. Its flames produced a warm, gentle glow with very little of the blue wavelength light that signaled daytime. Our biology, our entire sleep-wake system, evolved under these specific conditions. Our internal clock was forged in the rhythm of sunlight and firelight. It learned to associate bright blue light with wakefulness and darkness with the onset of sleep. This ancient programming is still wired into every cell in your body. So, what happens when that ancient programming encounters darkness? As evening approaches and the light dims, your master clock, the SCN, sends a crucial message to another tiny structure in your brain, the pineal gland. This is the cue for the pineal gland to begin producing and releasing melatonin. Melatonin is often called the hormone of darkness, and for good reason. Its release is triggered by the absence of light. Now, it's important to understand that melatonin doesn't work like a sleeping pill. It doesn't knock you out or force you to sleep. Instead, it acts as a gentle signal to your entire body that biological nighttime has officially arrived. Think of melatonin as your body's sleep conductor. It quietly steps onto the podium and cues the orchestra of your internal systems to prepare for rest. It lowers the volume on wakefulness, your core body temperature begins to drop slightly, feelings of sleepiness gradually increase. Your body begins to shift into its restorative nighttime mode. Melatonin is the herald of the night, the chemical messenger that opens the gates to sleep. Now, let's introduce the modern world into this ancient system. Our homes and pockets are filled with smartphones, LED lights, laptops, and televisions. All of these devices have one thing in common. They emit significant amounts of blue wavelength light, and your brain pays very close attention to it. Here's why. Within the retina of your eye, there are specialized cells that aren't used for vision in the way your rods and cones are. They're called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, or IPRGCs. You can think of them as light meters for your brain. Their primary job isn't to help you see the world, but to report ambient light conditions directly to your master clock, the SCN. And these cells are exquisitely sensitive to blue light. So when you're scrolling on your phone in a dark room at 11 p.m., the blue light from that screen travels into your eye and hits these specialized cells. The message they send to your brain's master clock is simple, direct, and completely wrong. The message is, it's daytime, the sun is up. Your brain is receiving a false sunrise. The result of this false signal is immediate and profound. Your master clock, believing it's morning, tells the pineal gland to stop production. The release of melatonin grinds to a halt. The nighttime signal, the chemical messenger that tells your body to prepare for sleep, is suppressed. Your biological clock is tricked, and it begins to shift later. You might not feel it dramatically at first, but you'll notice you just don't feel sleepy at your usual bedtime. You're awake, you're alert, so you stay up longer. You scroll for another hour. That hour of scrolling further suppresses melatonin, pushing your internal clock even later. It's a vicious cycle that delays your natural sleep window and over time leads to you sleeping less. Your body is ready for night, but your brain is stuck on day. An occasional late night with a screen isn't going to destroy your health. The human body is remarkably resilient. The real problem emerges when this becomes a chronic, nightly habit. This constant state of conflict between your behavior and your biology, known as circadian disruption, can have serious consequences. Researchers have linked poor sleep and chronic circadian misalignment to a long list of health issues. On a daily basis, it can manifest as reduced concentration, mood disturbances, and impaired memory. But over the long term, the risks become more severe. Studies have connected it to metabolic dysfunction, a reduced ability to fight off infections due to a weakened immune system, and even an increased risk for cardiovascular problems. It's not the blue light itself that is directly toxic. It's what happens when your body's internal symphony loses its conductor, descending into a state of circadian chaos. The good news is that this is not an unsolvable problem. You don't have to live like a caveman to get good sleep. Supporting your ancient biology can be achieved with surprisingly simple and powerful habits. It starts in the morning. Get as much bright, natural light as you can shortly after waking. This helps to powerfully anchor your internal clock for the day. Then, as evening approaches, do the opposite. Begin to dim the lights in your home. And most importantly, try to reduce your exposure to screens 1 to 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep. Put the phone away. Read a physical book. Listen to a podcast. Use warmer, dimmer lighting after sunset to mimic the glow of a campfire rather than the glare of a false sun. Maintaining a consistent sleep and wake time, even on weekends, also powerfully reinforces your rhythm. Small changes, when repeated consistently, can strengthen your circadian rhythm and protect your melatonin. So why does blue light have this power over us? Because for hundreds of thousands of years, your brain evolved to trust light implicitly. Sunrise meant safety, activity, and opportunity. Darkness meant danger, but also restoration. Modern technology has given us extraordinary gifts of convenience and connection, but our biology still speaks an ancient language, a language written in the simple, powerful contrast between sunlight and darkness. Understanding this connection doesn't mean we must abandon our technology. It means we must learn to use it wisely, to become masters of our light environment instead of its slaves. Every night, your body is preparing to do its most critical work, repairing your brain, strengthening your immune system, organizing your memories and restoring your energy. And one of the most powerful ways to support that vital process is to simply give your brain permission to know that night has finally, truly arrived.